Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and some more Blood and Plunder coverage here as we start working our way through the Spanish commanders. Today we're taking a look at a very interesting one. That's Philip Fitzgerald. He's a 20-pointer, can lead any Guarda Costa force, and really give us some interesting abilities to that said force. Now for 20 points, we're getting a 8-inch command range, so not ideal. We'd love to see something like 10, 12, or more, but we're getting a whole lot of abilities, which we'll cover in a second. We still get the 2 command points, so we're good there. Pistol and standard melee weapon. And then for a 20-pointer, really just for any character, we're getting so much here, right? We get Vendetta against the English, Broadside, Ruthless, Inspiring, and Commodore. So 5 abilities, which we almost never see in really even some of the more expensive characters. Usually it's like 3 or 4, sometimes less even. But here in a 20-pointer, we're actually getting 5 abilities, right? So let's jump in and take a look at that and see what this all gives us for our 20-point investment. Vendetta against the English is obviously going to be situational, right? Anytime we see the Vendetta rule, but basically we're geared towards fighting English forces. So when fighting against any English force, this force may reroll 1 failed die in any rally test. So good stuff there. So again, just having an inbuilt advantage against any specific or any English forces is great, right? Then moving on, we get some more familiar ones, and really just a wonderful combination of these abilities in a relatively cheap package here. Broadside, of course, we've seen before many times, but all artillery fired during his activation are fired simultaneously, hence it's all the same range attack, which lets us get more chances of scoring those wonderful criticals, which we will hope to obviously have then really start degrading and eroding the enemy ship's effectiveness, typically, right, when we're seeing broadside in naval combat. So good stuff there. We'll talk about that again in a second when we get down to Commodore. But we get Ruthless, and always nice to see. Now, there's a lot of Ruthless units already out there, but just having it on your commander to apply it to a unit that maybe doesn't have it is great. So you get a -1 bonus to shoot tests with small arms, not explosives, and to fight tests against units with more fatigue than this unit, right? So again, if we can choose the order of our activation properly and engage enemy units that already have more fatigue than we do, always a wonderful thing, right? Getting these bonuses. And if we can keep doing that every time that we activate, it's just going to hopefully lead to more hits, which hopefully will cause more casualties and fatigue on the enemy to really, start eliminating their ability to fight back against you, hopefully causing eventual just unit wipes and routes and stuff like that. So just the more, obviously, that we can get Ruthless to activate, the better, right? Real simple stuff there. Inspiring, of course, always nice to see that. One of our favorite abilities. All friendly units within the command range of this commander may reroll any failed rally test results when the commander's unit is active. So again, being able to keep our forces in the fight longer is always a great thing here. We get maximum use out of the command points if that's what we're using them for. So, and ideally, again, just keeping forces in the fight longer. Now, the downside with Inspiring on this guy, and that's where we're kind of, retroactively kind of paying for the cheapness of this character compared to others. We're only getting that 8-inch command range, right? So for us to get max use out of this, right, we're going to have that sort of 16-inch bubble of where our command range is active. So not too small, right? But that's definitely going to limit us versus some of the other characters where they can extend that out much, much further as far as their command range goes. So we're going to be a little bit more tightly grouped up to get max use of that. But then finally, and that might not be as bad considering that he really is also geared a lot towards naval combat. So if we're fighting on the water, the command range is obviously going to be much less of an issue, especially for our own ship. But we also get Commodore here. So when this commander is aboard a ship, his command range is increased by 12 when giving actions to units on other ships, right? So in some larger games where we're needing to, maybe we have like a small flotilla or something like that, right? A couple of ships here and there, being able to extend that out is fantastic to essentially, by 12, so like a 20-inch range. That's plenty. That lets us also spread out a little bit with the ships and get good value there. So the only time that, again, that command range is going to hamper us is if we're actually on land, and which we'll occasionally have to fight those, right? But so this character for 20 points is giving us 2 great abilities for being on the water, right, with ships. Broadside and Commodore, you'd expect to see that for a named character. If they're geared towards fighting on the water. But ruthless and inspiring are always wonderful to have in any situation, right? So that's going to make him really good on the water. But he's still going to be decent enough, 20 points. And if we take ruthless and inspiring, that's just a good combo of rules to have in general for any of your commanders. So he'll do just fine on land, but he'll be even better on the water for you. So for 20 points, we're still getting a lot of things. And again, if we happen to be fighting against the English, hey, all the better. Then that kicks in. But obviously, it's a situational ability as far as that one goes. So 4 kind of always relevant abilities, and then 1 that's situational. So really good stuff for 20 points, guys. So let us know if you have run Philip Fitzgerald and how that's gone, and where you've had your successes. Have you felt him to be good enough on land? What about on the water? Let us know in the comments. Look forward to hearing from you. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll have more for you soon.